lost my vision today. I feel like maybe I should document everything that happened. Um, I work on a rubber mill, um, which, gosh, I don't know how to describe it. Basically, um, there's a, gosh, I don't even know the names of the things. Uh, Section of the mill that goes this way and another section of the mill that goes this way. And in between those two sections is where you put the rubber. Um, and between those two sections, you can make it closer or further apart so that you get these sheets of rubber that are certain measurements. And I put rubber on there, make it into certain sheet sizes, and then when I'm finished, I sit down and I mark the tops of them with the rubber names and the date and the number, lot numbers. Anyway, so I was doing that, and I noticed a specific rubber that just came in that day. There's a really pungent smell coming off of it, and rubber stinks anyway, so it wasn't that big of a deal, but I don't remember this one stinking like that before, and I'd only milled it one time before, so I don't remember much about it. Um, Actually twice before, because I remilled it also. Um, anyway, as I was finishing up to go sit down to write all the numbers I have to write down, I noticed I couldn't really see out of this eye, and a little bit out of this one, but not so much. And um, it was like sections of what I was seeing were blurry, um, like grayed away, like they were gray sections. And I figured maybe I was just tired, because I was tired. And I'll sit down, rub my eyes, see if my eyes will come back into focus and everything will be clear. So I went to the fountain to wash my hands, and I came back, sat down, and just put my hands like this for a couple minutes, just holding onto my eyes and letting them adjust to the light and focus on what was around me. And they weren't focusing on anything. It was just blur. So I took my other hand and I did the same thing, thinking, I can do this. I can adjust my eyes. Nothing was happening, and I was starting to freak out. I'm like, no, no, no. I just need to get something to drink. I need some water. So I went and got water, and because I need oxygen, you know. Because when you mill, the rubber gets hot, and through through the middle there, the the heat escapes out the bottom and it hits you in the face, and it comes out the backside too. And I uh, I usually feel some heat on my face when I'm milling, and I wear gloves when I mill because of the heat, and because also the rubber absorbs the oils from your skin. Sorry, I'm like really tired talking about this, so bear with me. I want to explain everything. Um, so, where was I? I went to get a drink of water, and I thought, that's probably not enough. I need to get actual air. I need to go outside. So I went to the back door and I opened the door and let the air come in. Um, Actually, before that, I went and got a drink, and then I went and told my roommate who works there, And I told him, I don't feel good right now. I'm having a hard time seeing, and I thought somebody should know. And so I'm like, I don't know if it was like the fumes from the rubber that's making me not be able to see, or if like maybe I had a little seizure or something. I thought I had heard about people having like these minor seizures that where they lose their vision, and I felt like that was happening. And I went to go um, uh, look in the mirror that was in that room, and I couldn't see my face in the mirror. Um, Actually, backtrack. So after I rubbed my eyes, I went to the bathroom to wash my eyes out. And I splashed them and cleaned them out and dried them. And I was looking at myself in the mirror, and there was like whole sections of my body that were gone. I couldn't see those sections of my body. I would look into my eyes, and I couldn't see parts of my eyes. They were just gone. It's kind of like if you're looking at a painting that's on a table, and somebody drops a drop of water on that table, and you look through that drop of water, whatever you see between the water and the picture, the painting, that's what I was seeing, pretty much. And um, actually, I then I talked to my roommate, and then I I decided maybe I should eat something, and I always keep a snack near me just in case. Um, and I ate some of that. Let's just do this on my computer. Um, I ate something, and then I went and gosh, man, I went everywhere. I went to go talk to my lead, and he was really busy. By that point, I was really freaking out because I couldn't see anything really. I was kind of just walking around blind. It wasn't really blind. It was like it wasn't a blackout. It was just like absence of image, if that even makes any sense. Like looking through, and it wasn't even like looking through water. It was like parts of the vision of what I was looking at just wasn't there. It just wasn't there. And it wasn't really gray. It just wasn't there. And so I went to go get another drink of water, and then I decided I was going to wash out my eyes in the rinsers, the eye rinsers that they have there, which I'm really glad they have them there. So I rinsed for maybe, I thought it was about 5 minutes, but it was probably only 2 minutes. And when I rinse my eyes out, I have a hard time breathing for some reason. Like I breathe through my eyes or something. It's really bizarre. So I'm having a hard time doing that. And I did it for a long time. And then when I felt like that was enough, I went and talked to my supervisor, who was in the next room from that area. And I told her, you know what, can I just sit in here for a while? Like I don't feel right. I can't see. I'm having a hard time seeing. And like I had a hard time explaining this to her because I'm the type of person that when I get sick, I don't tell people I'm sick. And I pretend like I'm not sick. So when you look at me when I'm sick, it probably doesn't look like I'm sick because I don't like appearing sick. And when something bad happens, I don't often tell people because it's my business and only I can deal with it, and it usually just goes away. Well, this was really serious. And you'll know when something's serious because I'll tell you about it. And this was really serious. I couldn't see for 15 minutes. I couldn't see. And I kept thinking, am I going to be like this for the rest of my life? Not being able to see? I couldn't deal with that. I didn't know what to do, so I had to tell somebody. I told my supervisor, and we started talking about like what it could have been. And I kept telling her that after I washed my eyes, that the blurriness that was in this eye wasn't blurry anymore. It turned into like this line, and there were like these spiraling, blinking, flashing stars in my eye. And it just kept, I don't know, it felt like the room was moving, and I kept trying to look at her, but I couldn't. And then I started feeling like this like little high, like how when you use isopropyl alcohol to clean, and you breathe in the fumes that are coming up, and you kind of get a little headache. Because I use isopropyl alcohol a lot there, so I know what that feels like. And it felt like that, but it was like perpetual. It was like constant. It wasn't going away. And when I looked at my eyes in the bathroom earlier, they weren't dilated at all. I checked that to see if my eyes were dilated, to see if everything was okay, and they weren't dilated at all. I didn't feel any pain when I lost my vision. And then all of a sudden, as my vision started to return, as I was talking to my supervisor, I started getting this headache, and it was dull at first, um, like it could either go away or it could get really bad. And my eyes started dilating, and I didn't realize that until later. Um, when well, I shouldn't say it. One thing at a time. So I, oh, uh, another guy came in, and my supervisor said I should talk to him, and we talked to him about it, and he thought maybe I rubbed my eye, and that's how I got a chemical in it or something like that. And I'm like, no, I wash my hands when I touch my eyes. I always do. If you watch me at work, I wash my hands a lot. And it's because I have to change um, different rubbers. It sounds so stupid. I work with different rubbers, and anyway, I have to stay clean because I work with different rubbers. And I can't get any dirt on them because what I make goes out onto the line, and they make those into product. So it has to be clean. Needless to say, he immediately called the safety guy, and the safety guy came and talked to me. He checked out my eyes. He did the whole finger thing, and I can't remember what else. It's all kind of a blur, but he tried to call a couple other different people, our manager and another manager. He actually tried the other manager first, the HR manager, and couldn't get a hold of him. Got the manager, and then he told me that he called somebody and he was on the phone with somebody. I think it was some emergency number, and because I was feeling dizzy, he wanted me to go flush my eyes out again, and I was feeling dizzy, and I had the headache. So he's like, "No, you're sitting down." So I had to sit down, and then he decided that he was going to call the paramedics. So the paramedics came. Oh, he was on the line with somebody, and then I went to go flush out my eyes. And wow, I'm like getting everything backwards. But like I said, I'm really tired. I'm trying to remember everything, and I still kind of have a headache, and my eyes are still a little bit dilated. So, but I've eaten, and I drank water, and um, I'm getting ready to go to bed soon. I took a shower and everything, made my face clean shaven. Um, okay, so, oh, and when I was sitting in the chair, as we were waiting for um, the paramedics, my hands were tingly, and my middle fingers were kind of moving by themselves, and my arms were numb. My legs were kind of numb too, so I don't know what that meant. Anyway, needless to say, the paramedics came, they checked me out, they suggested I go to the ER. I kept thinking, I don't have insurance. I can't afford insurance this year, and so I opted out for insurance. I can't afford it. It's way too expensive, and I have things that I have to spend my money on, and insurance, I never go to the doctor. I never went to the doctor growing up, so um, I think I went to the hospital one time when I had meningitis, and I'm 37 years old, so I don't really need insurance. And I've been trying to get my car fixed all year long, and I haven't ever had money because it's all been going to insurance. And then insurance went up this year, and I definitely couldn't afford it. So anyway, back to the point. I I figured, well, maybe I could call my mom, I could borrow money from her, and then I could go to the doctor later. I didn't want to go to the doctor just because I don't have insurance and I can't afford it. But I was really scared, and I felt like I should get this checked out because this is my vision. It's very important to me, and I don't want to lose it. I don't ever want this to happen again. So they kept telling me, this is workman's comp, workman's compensation. It was something that happened at work, so they're covering it. So I felt relieved. I'm like, okay, I was scared. I was really scared because this has never happened to me. Never had to have paramedics come and look at me. Never had to go to a hospital like this before, except for when I had meningitis, but that wasn't as scary. I figured I had meningitis. I don't know how I knew, but once I got the spinal tap and they drew the fluid, they told me I had meningitis. I'm like, I knew it! Anyway, so a guy from work took me. I opted out of taking the ambulance there. Took me to the ER, and the safety guy met us there. And then the guy from work stayed there while I went in, talked to the nurse, um, told her what happened. I did tell the lady that was putting my information in the computer, that I have this headache right now, and I talked to her about this whole seizure thing, if that was true, and she goes, people, when they do have seizures, they do have huge headaches afterwards. So, and maybe she said something about their eyes do get dilated. Anyway, when I went into the bathroom, right when I got to the hospital, I looked at my eyes, and they were really huge, the pupils, and that really scared me because I've never seen them that big before, and they weren't big before. Like I said, when I lost my vision, I didn't have any pain in my body, and then as my vision started coming back, I started getting this huge headache, and my eyes dilated, and the all my vitals were fine with the paramedics, and one of the paramedics said that my eyes weren't dilated back then, so I'm really confused about that. So I the nurse came in and talked to me, and then she had me wait for the resident. I'm assuming that's a resident nurse or a resident doctor. I don't know. Anyway, probably waited about 45 minutes, and then he finally came in, told me I had to take off my sweater and my shirt to put on a hospital gown covering because he was going to he said I didn't want my shirt wet. And I'm thinking, what is going on? Anyway, this doctor or nurse or whoever it was, he had a messed up eye. And I started getting a little scared because if this guy already has vision problems, he's not going to care about my vision problems because he has to deal with that in his life. And that's fine for him. It's not fine for me. I want to keep my vision. Well, it's not fine for him. If it's at all possible for him to fix that eye, it'd be great for him to have perfect vision. I just felt like he couldn't relate to me. I felt like I was in a Twilight Zone episode because his eye was jacked up, and I kind of felt like he didn't care about me because I got my vision back, and I was really scared because he had me lay down on this bed, and he brought in saline solution with a little tube. It was 1,000 milliliters, and he The end of the tube was right on top of my eye, and he just dropped water into my eye as I held my eye open. He held it for a while, but I started to get panicky, and I got a lot of anxiety, and I'm like, maybe I should hold my eye myself. And a couple times he touched my eye with the hose. I'm like, this guy can't see. Why is he doing this? Why is this happening to me? I kept saying that. Not like, what does this mean? But like, why is this happening to me? It's just so bizarre. Hey, I'm in the middle of a video. Can I call you right back? Bye. So he put it in one eye, he put it in the other, he put it in the other, he put it in the other. Well, I don't have four eyes. You know what I mean? And he didn't he didn't really check out my eyes or anything. He just put saline solution in it. My eyes felt really good after that. But he didn't check about the whole seizure thing or anything, and I told the nurse about that. And I was trying to tell him about what happened with my eyes, and I'm like, should I tell him? Because the doctor's coming in soon, right? So he was asking me about it, and I told him, and he didn't really want me to finish. He's like, well, I'm just going to keep putting this in your eye. I'm like, okay, well, I'll tell the doctor when he gets there. Then I'm not telling this guy. Well, I guess he is the doctor, but he didn't care about what I was saying. Like, he didn't even let me finish my whole story. I'm like, why am I here? He's not even like, he's putting salt water in my eyes. So I sat there for another 15 minutes after he left. He didn't tell me if I could put my shirt back on or not. And I'm like, I'm putting my shirt on. I'm putting my sweater on. It's cold in here. And then I had to go to the bathroom. Like, I'm just going to go to the bathroom. And I asked the nurses outside where the bathroom was, and they said I had to go out in the lobby. So I start walking, and the guy comes behind me. He's like, hey, come out back in here. I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom real quick. He's like, no, come in here. Got to fill out these. I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. He's like, this won't take long. So I'm like, okay. And he basically had me sign notices that said that, um, gosh, I don't remember what they said. I was just really irritated. Um, basically that something about the procedure that he did. I think that's what it was. Tell me what he did, and that was it. Tell me I should probably see an ophthalmologist in 2 days, so I have to talk to my work tomorrow about that. And I might go home early tomorrow. I don't know, depending on how I feel. Um, anyway, it was a good thing I didn't go to the bathroom, because when I got back out to the guy from my work outside, that he said that the company told him that I need to go take a drug test. So I'm glad I didn't go pee then, because I would have had to wait to go pee later. And that's standard to get a drug test for work, for a work-related injury. So now I don't know if I can work on the mill tomorrow or not. Um, Probably not, because that's what usually happens after you take a drug test. They don't let you operate any machinery. So I'll meet with the safety guy tomorrow and maybe just take a half day. I don't know. So anyway, that's what happened to me. It was the scariest thing that happened in my life. It's scary just how something so simple can just take something away from you so easily. And that happens so often in my life. And it doesn't need to get this personal. So I just thought you guys should know, and I'm feeling okay now. I don't feel completely well yet. I still have a headache, and that's my story. It's the 20th of March, 2013, and I am Greg Ward. Bye.